right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into our community focused segment, and we're going to be looking at some disturbing issues that are happening in the Bono region today. Now, there are people who are living with cataracts, and they're having challenges, getting these cataracts, dealt with through surgery because of various things that are happening within the Bono region and the health sector there. Let's take a look at this report filed by our colleague and correspondent, Michael Mfum. Let's take a look. We'll be back and we'll get into some conversations.
Access to cataract surgeries in the Bono region remains a challenging endeavor, with only 2 ophthalmologists stationed at the Bono Regional Hospital and the AZA Hospital in Sunyani. The demand surpasses the available resources. The AZA Hospital, in collaboration with the Himalayan Cataract Project and the National Cataract Outreach Program, conducted 285 free cataract surgeries. However, despite their efforts, numerous individuals in the region still suffer from cataract. To extend their services to a greater number of people, the hospital has initiated a rural outreach program. This program involves screening of individuals for cataracts in remote areas, ensuring those diagnosed with the condition are scheduled for surgeries later in the year. I had the privilege of joining Dr. Louis Otinjima, an ophthalmologist at the SDA Hospital in Sunyani, and his team on a 5-hour journey to Brody and Namasa in the Tang district, as well as Duadaso in the German North district. The mission was to screen individuals with cataracts and book them for surgeries, so their failing eyesight can be restored. During the trip, the team also provided additional medication to over 20 individuals who had recently undergone surgeries, ensuring their continued treatment.
In the Bono region, it's been estimated that almost about 11,000 people are either blind or severely visually impaired from cataracts, for whom surgical operation of their cataract will help to improve their vision. But there are lots of barriers when it comes to people getting access to cataract surgeries, and one of those barriers has to do with costs. There are both direct and indirect costs. If you go to most facilities in Ghana, especially in the big cities, cataract surgery for one eye could cost you between 1,000 to about 3,000 Ghana cedis. Those are the direct costs. Think about the cost of transportation. There are also barriers with regards to fear. Most people are really afraid to have cataract surgery for one reason or the other. People who are blind from cataract should not be blind from cataract, because now some simple surgical procedure can be done. Within a few minutes, their eyes are closed, and then the following day, when the eyes are opened, they are able to see very well again. And that's why over the past few days, at Sunyani SDA Hospital, with the support of the Himalayan Cataract Project through the National Cataract Outreach Program, they've supported us to perform cataract surgeries at no direct cost to almost about 300 people.
Are you happy with the feedback we are getting from those who conducted surgeries on?
Then we are all very happy with the outcome as we see today. Most of the people are very happy. Those whose hand had to be held when they were coming for the surgery, now they came for the review themselves, and they are all testifying to the good outcomes of the surgery. And that, in a long way, has helped to reduce the fear that people had when you mentioned cataract surgery to them. As we came today, most of the people who had been screened earlier, who benefit from the cataract surgery, who did not come because of fear, most of them have come now, and they are ready to have the surgery done. And we have taken note of all those people. At the next opportunity, we shall organize and then come and do the surgeries for them.
Some of the people who recently benefited from a free cataract surgery shared their experiences with Citi News.
I went there on the 10th of May, and on the 11th, that they made the surgery. In fact, I'm very glad that I can see clear. It isn't like the other day when I went there. So I'm very, very happy that they have done this thing for me. Now I can identify anything. Whatever I see, I know I'm clear. Even I can say that it is clearer than when I was born. So I'm advising the people that whosoever is there mustn't steer, he mustn't entertain any fears, for there is no mistake need and there's no pain. When they make it for you, you become very well as it is, and you can go to your work at any time. So they shouldn't fear. That is what I'm advising them. Now I can see well. So I thank the SDA hospital of what they have done for me.
Can you know dear not me queer for one? I'm a brepa. Measure the amount of me, and be proper man, sir. I'm a cousin, young by a dear. Me who are dear pa. Now, no, me jar my home boy, and say, eh, Sunyano dear, ye pa, and tell ye my. Ye boy, me papa.
And you want dear papa. See me, I'm crying, as I'm not the menu. She said, yeah, mammy pa, Madame Roma, Doctor Daroma, yeah, mammy pa. I want to come be breeze, so between me, far dear, meeting me, who are dear. One my acadia, Mamma put you say, a year pa, which me quiet. Oh, my binum, when we be say, Uqua, a year crown, my vessel, Abba, and Chabiana Sanaba, Miss Womoboa. So I put you on the amount.
Dr. Tinjima shares his thoughts on what could be done to reduce cataract cases in the Bono region.
For the whole Bono region, there are 2 ophthalmologists who are actively working. That is woefully inadequate compared to what the WHO requires, that for every 250,000 population, there should be at least 1 ophthalmologist giving services. Okay, but for a population of about 1.2 million, there are only 2 ophthalmologists. And that is woefully inadequate. So going forward, we need to ensure that we have more people to provide a service, and also they are well resourced, they are equipped. The equipment that they need to be able to perform their services for people, and also the consumables that they need, they are regularly provided, so that people who are blind from treatable causes like cataracts can have their vision restored.
All right, and so that's a report brought to you by our colleague, Michael Sapon-Mfum. He's our regional correspondent with Citi TV and Citi FM. So, Chris.
It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's quite unfortunate, and it's sad. I can imagine what's going on there.
Well, I mean, I do feel like the other side of this also is we need to maybe advocate for more interventions by non-state actors, you see, because at the end of the day, there's always help coming
from somewhere.
From somewhere. Yeah. And so maybe some of these initiatives should be directed towards, the Bono region.
Right,
yeah.
right.
But our colleague and correspondent, Michael Sapon-Mfum, has joined us on the line. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, looking at this, it seems quite a serious problem. I mean, on the ground where you are, do you know of people personally who are having challenges with cataracts?
There are few people within the region. Few people in the region, especially the rural communities.
Yeah. All right. So, per the situation that's happening there, have you had any conversations with, let's say, the Ghana Health Service, or any state agencies to find out, if there's a plan in place to mitigate this challenge that is happening in the Bono region?
Thank you very much. I've not been able to get authority from the Ghana Health Service, but I was in touch with Dr. Louis Otin, who's an ophthalmologist at the FB Hospital, who led the operation somewhere last month.
Okay.
And through the efforts of other supporters and other agencies, they were able to conduct some surgeries free of charge for the people. Some even came as far as Kwame Danso in the Bono East region to Sunyani for the free surgery. Yes. So it tells you how the situation is. And within, in the report, as I stated, there are only 2 ophthalmologists within the Bono region.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, yes. People came as far as Kwame Danso in the Bono East region to Sunyani for the surgery. And you said there's also a misconception have a cataract that if you go in for the surgery, you can't see again.
Yeah.
I believe through the effort of Dr. Louis Otten and his team, they are educating the people. So I joined the team 5 hours to Brody in the time they see, as well as the other so in the German North District. And 5 hours to that place is not even easy. The roads very terrible.
Yeah.
2 days they are educating the people, and few people they booked for the surgeries, but for fear they didn't come. When we went to the community and they saw the impact for the people who went for the surgery, I believe they are convinced now, and Dr. Otten and his team have taken notice of that, and they tell me that when there's any other opportunity, they take the people through. So, without the situation in the region, I believe that the authorities are listening, and definitely they do something about the situation.
Now, there's one thing to have a staff challenge, but there's also another thing to have equipment challenge. I don't know if you know anything about that aspect of things, because doctor friends of mine are always complaining about the fact that they are at work, but they don't have what they need to get the work done. You know, what's the situation like within the region as far as the equipment is concerned? Do the doctors who are actually at post have what they need, just generally?
Yes, Dr. Tenzima tells me that they are challenges with equipment that they will need, but they are making good use of the lesson that they have, and they will need more support across other facilities within the Bono region.
Now, in terms of the sensitizing of the people to get their cataracts removed when the free surgeries are going on, has there been any involvement of traditional leaders or of the assemblies, district assemblies, in sensitizing the people, or it's just the doctors who have to do it themselves?
They are using the churches and the traditional leaders. The man I spoke to is also a chief from his community.
Okay.
So he has also taken up upon himself to educate the people who have similar challenges and his community. And they are collaborating with the various churches within the region to educate the people that if you go in for cataract operations, the misconception here by people that they will take off your eye and they wash it and put it back in some soup, and and the people who are now able to see the various communities that Brody, the other soul, Namasa have all become advocates, telling people that I have surgery for my cataract and now I can see clearly. So they've become advocates and championing and also encouraging people to go for cataract surgery if the opportunities are available themselves.
So it looks like from the various angles that we are discussing, the problem actually that we have with the cataracts and the numbers of people that are living with cataract is more about the fear of what will happen if they go through the surgery. And so over the years, people have never gone for the surgeries, and it's like you've piled up the numbers.
Yes.
Do you get a sense of that?
Well, we said one, misconception and also accessibility.
Okay.
These are the two main challenges. Misconception and also accessibility. You know, opportunity came, people were screened and they saw that they had a challenge.
Yeah.
But instead of coming, because of that fear, they declined coming. But later on, when we went to Brody, in the time they sit, and they saw that people can now see, because they live with the people in the community, and people were using walking stick and they can walk freely. They think that, wow, that means these people have gone for the surgery. Why not me?
Yeah.
So, as I said, Dr. Otten and his team have taken notice of that, and they plan, if they're able to get some support within the year, they will conduct another free surgery. Because they took care of everything, their transportation, where they living lodge for days.
Wow.
And as I said, people have to travel close to 6-7 hours to come down to the city, in the Bono region. So they done very well. And I believe if they're able to get more support, they're also using the media to also educate people about misconceptions.
Yes,
as well. So these are the two key challenges: misconception and accessibility.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate your time. Thank you. All right. So that was Michael Sapon Infum. He's our Bono regional correspondent and brought to us that report. And Chris, it's very, on one hand, it's troubling, but on the other hand, it's very heartwarming to see that, we always look to people coming from outside to give us the free things. Right. To see that a doctor who works with the people has decided that, this is too much of a challenge. Let me get as much help as possible and go to the people and give them, free service. Let's reduce the numbers of people that are living with cataracts. And I think it's a very fantastic story.
And also, I would also love to commend them for, going out there to teach these people about having these surgeries. Because what I see in this whole story, apart from the fact that they do not have enough ophthalmologists and enough adequate materials to do the work, I think it's also the fear. The fear. It's an African thing. We're always scared to even go to a simple surgery. We're always scared. As long as we hear surgery, we are scared. So I really commend them for the education. And I think this education should even go more than that region. Like everywhere, we should really talk about it, because even apart from the Bono region, a lot of people are also scared of, having, simple procedures that can actually help them.
We've been joined by Dr. Louise Oting Jima, the ophthalmologist with the SDA Hospital in Sunyani. Dr. Oting Jima, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
So, what was it that inspired you or motivated you, apart from the fact that so many people you come across, living with cataracts? What else? What was the extra thing that's made you say, you know what, I'm not just going to go to work as normal. Let's provide something free and then go do advocacy, education, sensitization, and then do the surgeries as well, all of this for free.
All right. Thank you very much. And a wonderful good morning to your wonderful listeners as well. I'm told Citi FM is 5 years now.
Citi
TV.
Yes, it's 5 years. Yes, please.
Yes. I want to commend you and your team for the wonderful work that you are
doing.
Thank you.
Yes. So, when it comes to blindness in Ghana, cataract is the leading cause.
Okay.
And why should cataract be the leading cause of blindness? It's because there are lots of barriers with regard to people getting access to the service. And these barriers are patient-related barriers, and we also have provider-related barriers.
Okay.
So if you look at something that we can do, a cause of blindness that we can do something about, cataract is an avoidable cause of blindness, and it's curable.
Okay.
Some of the patient-related barriers include lack of awareness. Most people are not aware that there is treatment for cataract. If you are blind from cataract, your sight can be restored through a very simple few minutes sight restoring procedure. Okay? Most people are not aware. The second one is belief. Some people believe that it is normal to be blind as you grow old. So even when they have that issue, they will not take any steps to seek for medical attention. Then the third major barrier, for which reason we did this particular free cataract surgery in Bono Region, is cost. There are direct costs and indirect costs when it comes to getting access to cataract surgical services. What are these direct costs? That's the cost that you are paying at the point of service. And most people who are blind are already poor to begin with. If you look at the cost of cataract surgery in most places, even with health insurance, most people are paying between about 1,000 to about 3,000 Ghana, depending on which part of Ghana you are.
Okay.
Because if you look at most service providers, to be able to break even, the cost of consumables in providing these surgical services, the cost of equipment, the human resource required, and everything if you are charging about 1,000 Ghana cedis for a patient, you are just about breaking even. So how many people can afford to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis for this sight restoring procedure? And the impact of someone regaining the sight is enormous. They are free to see, to be able to engage in their usual economic activities. And children, sometimes what saddens me most is children who should be in school are made to stay in the house to take care of their grandfather or grandmother or their mother or auntie who is blind, so that they can guide them to the washroom and all that. Some even have to be with them by the roadside begging for money. So the impact is enormous. Cost is a major barrier. Then look at the indirect cost. If I am blind and I need to go to a hospital for cataract surgery, somebody has to stop what he's doing and accompany me to the hospital. Look at issues of transportation and all that. Plus, if you go there, you do the surgery, the following day, we have to open and then review before you go home. So all these are the components of cost that deter people from getting access to this sight restoring procedure.
Okay.
Then we have
go ahead.
Yes.
Go
yes.
on.
Then we have other major issues like fear. Some people entertain fear that when you do surgery on your eye, you are not going to see again. But the irony of the whole thing is that most people, people are already not seeing. So what is it that makes them so afraid that if they go for a procedure that has the chance of restoring their sight, they are so much afraid. So what inspired me and my team and the National Cataract Surgery Program to do this particular program in Bono was that we want to bring the best quality of service in terms of surgery to the people who, because of cost, who because of transportation, sometimes distance from where they can get the service is an issue. So the program was planned in such a way that we went to the remote areas where you have people who have issues with money, being able to travel by themselves, provide a service for them. We accommodated them, fed them during the time when they were here in Nyane, and then sent them back to their place of residence. And the following week, those that came from very far, my team and I transported ourselves to the place where they stayed to review them there. And the joy was enormous. We did this one with the intention of trying to dispel the notion of fear when people entertain when it comes to cataract surgery. So for this particular area, I think Brody and the Adapto area in the Bono region, my team had earlier gone there. We got almost about 40 people that will benefit from cataract surgery, but only 20 came. The 20, almost all of them were seen. Now, when we went for the review, the rest who were afraid to come, and for other reasons, now came that they also want to have the surgery because at least people who could not see, they've now seen that they are now independent and are going about their usual duties. So those were some of the major things that motivated me to ensure that we provide practice service and also help to reduce that fear notion when it comes to cataract surgery, and also for provider-related barriers. In the whole region, we are 2 ophthalmologists who are actively working. We are 3, but the third one is actually in management position, who is not available to perform cataract surgery. And if you look at the population within the region, 1.2 million, we need at least 5 ophthalmologists. So, and the burden here is huge. I did some small calculation, and almost about close to 1,200 people will benefit from cataract surgery. Either they are severely visually impaired or totally blind from. It's not something that 1 or 2 people can do. So, with the support of the National Cataract Outreach Program, that is sponsored by the Himalayan Cataract Project, ACP, we put this program together to bring. It was not only I who did the surgery, other surgeons from all over the country. We were 4 in all, and other eye care professionals, optometrists, ophthalmic nurses, opticians, all came together. And within that, we ensured that we provided very efficient, high-quality surgery for the people within our area, so that people will know that if you are blind from cataract, that is not the end. If you are blind from cataract, by helping to cross or to get over most of these barriers, your sight can be restored, and you can also make an impact in your family, in your community, and also contribute to national development in total.
All right, Doc, I just want to ask, what are the causes of cataracts?
All right, so cataract is mainly something that the major risk factor is aging. All of us, if you live long enough, a lot of research have been done. From the age of 50 years going, we all start to have cloudiness within our lens. So cataract just refers to cloudiness within the natural lens. As you grow, the cloudiness is likely to increase. When it gets to a point where not enough light is able to pass through your eye for you to be able to see clearly, then you need treatment for the cataract. So all of us, if we live long enough, we will definitely develop cataract at one point or the other. If you take people who are around the ages of between 60 to 70, let's say almost about 10% of them will have some cataract that will need treatment. For those who are more than 80 years, almost about 8% of them will have cataract that require treatment. So if we live long enough, living long itself is a risk, just like graying of our hair.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can do to prevent your hair from graying. Most of us live long enough, our hair will gray. But then the good news is that if you develop cataract and it is just because of aging, there are no other associated illness with the eye, then you have hope that when the cataract is removed, your vision can be restored back to as you were seeing so many years before. Of course, there are other minor risk factors like injury to the eye. When someone sustains trauma to the eye, it itself is a risk factor for you to develop cataract. And then systemic illnesses like diabetes. People who have diabetes are at a higher risk of developing cataract. Like I said, all of us develop cataract, but when you have diabetes, then you are likely to develop the cataract much earlier on than expected. So usually if I see people who are 40 years and they come to me, they are blind, they cannot see because of their cataract, the first thing I do is to screen them for some systemic illnesses like diabetes, because that is a risk factor that, of course, someone of younger age, you have cataract. There are some of them that are congenital. So cataract is not only a problem with people who are old. There are children who are born with cataract or they develop cataract within their first few years of life. These are genetic abnormalities and all that. Those are childhood cataracts, and those are cataracts that require treatment, urgently, because when a child has cataract and you don't treat, up to the age of about 7 years, the child's brain is still developing. The visual cortex of the child's brain is still developing. So if there is cataract that is impairing good vision, it will make the child's eye become lazy with time. And later on in life, when the cataract is being removed, the chance of vision coming back to well is very limited. So children also have cataract, and children's cataracts are treated with much more urgency compared to an adult. For an adult, if you have cataract, you can wait for a while before you have it taken out.
Right.
Okay, and eventually when it's taken out, you can see better.
Okay, but how can individuals and organizations actually contribute to support the efforts that you are putting out there to reduce the prevalence of cataracts in this region?
Yeah, thank you very much. So if you come to my facility, SBA Hospital, we do provide cataract surgical services on a weekly basis. But the problem is it comes at a cost. Right. Because when I talk about equipment, during this particular program, I was very happy because the sponsors and the National Cataract Outreach Program, in an outreach like this, they will bring all the equipment that you need. So we have equipment for biometry, many operating microscopes and all that. In my daily, weekly operations here, I don't have a biometry equipment. So I have to rely on a private person to come and do the biometry, and that comes at a cost transferred to the patient. Okay? Right. And then if you look at the fact that transportation is an issue, that area that we went, the road network is not very good, and it took us almost about 4 hours to get to that place. So if people who are already poor, they are not going to their farm because they are blind, if you want them to come to you for that service, it will be difficult. So if we means of transportation for the staff and the rest of the team, and also bringing patients to the point where they can receive the services, it will help in a long way to reduce the burden of cataract blindness within the Bono region and around. This program was not only for the people in the Bono region. You'll be amazed that people came from Kumasi, some came from Accra, all because of the radio announcement that we made prior to the program. It tells you that, yes, cost is really an issue. Because if someone is in Kumasi where they can get a surgery at a particular facility, and there is a long waiting list, and also the cost is prohibitive, of course, they'll be waiting. It is not only the people in the remotest areas who are facing these barriers. So there is a lot some NGOs like the ACP, Site Savers and all that, they are helping. But for how long can they continue to help? It's about time that we as Ghanaians, we take absolute responsibility. We shouldn't consider eye care to be a standalone. Most of the time, eye care has been supported in most facilities by NGOs. So I think the narrative should change going forward. As they are helping us, we should find ways and means of thinking, how can we sustain what we are doing? So reimbursement from National Health Insurance, and the government also paying attention in investing in eye care, because providing good eye care has been shown to improve socioeconomic development, reduce incidence of accidents. Most of the accidents that happen on our road are because people have vision impaired issues. So I'll plead that it's not only here in Bono, there are also other peripheral facilities where there are ophthalmologists and other eye care professionals who can provide some services like this. Yet they are not very well equipped. So that would be my plea to individuals, corporate organizations, and the government, that let us look at the areas where these needs are very paramount, and then let's help, so that we also, who have dedicated our lives to bring smiles to the face of people, we can also be able to do it in a way that is considered standard as done anywhere else in the world.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Doc.
you so much.
I think you're doing an amazing work there, and
thank you.
May the good Lord strengthen your efforts, and multiply what you are putting in. All right, so that was Dr. Louis Otingjima. He is the ophthalmologist with the SDA Hospital in Sunyani. Chris, you know, not all angels have wings.
True.
Let me just put it like that. Not all angels have wings, you know. And I feel particularly enthralled and proud that Ghanaians, you know, who are living within the same environment that we find ourselves. It's fantastic when you get Ghanaians who have done well outside and they are coming back to come and help. That's fantastic. But it's another level to see Ghanaians within our ecosystem, within the same settings and the challenges and the issues that we are experiencing.
That are probably going through the same challenges.
The same things, you know, to get up and say, you know something, someone is worse off than I am. Let me go help that person, you know. And for me, it just deserves a lot of commendation. And kudos to them who did the surgeries there. And we wish you well. And, you know, this is government's responsibility, you know, so Ghana Health Service and all that. So if they are unable to do it for whatever financial constraints, well, some people are saying that they are willing to do something about the situation and not just throw your hands in the air and say that nothing can be done. So kudos to Dr. Otingjima and his team who went out there and did that, and they're looking to do more surgeries later on as well. Well, let's take a quick break. There are more stories to come on the Community Development segment.